In this video, we're just going to look at writing equations of ellipses in standard form. We've done this once before, but we're going to practice it a little bit more. We did this with circles. Now we're going to do this with ellipses, and we're going to complete the square in order to take an equation that's not in standard form and put it in standard form. So what we're going to do is we are going to, again, remember, complete the square is b over 2 squared. Okay, we're going to do that twice. We're going to do it with the x's and the y's. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write the x's next to each other. And then I like to put a blank here. This is where I'm adding b over 2 squared. Okay, and then I'm going to do the y's. Minus. And then we want to add the 3 to the other side. Okay, so now here's something else important. So we're going to add whatever we add here goes here, whatever we add here goes here. Now here's something else important. The coefficients on x squared and y squared must be 1. So I am going to actually factor out this 4. So we've got 4, and then this becomes a 2. Okay, so the coefficients on x squared and y squared must be 1. Okay, so if they're not, we're going to factor this out. Excuse me. Okay, so we are going to now add b over 2 squared to each of these pieces. So b over 2 here is 3. 3 squared is 9. Okay, that's doing, again, that b over 2 squared. So when I add 9 here, I have to 9 here. Okay, so whatever I add here is really being multiplied by 4. So we also have to multiply it by 4 here. Okay, so I'm kind of ignoring negative 2 divided by 2 squared is 1, but it's 1 times 4. So that's why I have to include that here. Okay, remember this will always factor into b over 2 with x. So b over 2 was 3. Okay. This, I have that 4 out front, but this will still factor. B over 2 is negative 1. And then over here, simplify. So we have 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 4 is 16. Okay, so now remember, the ellipse, I always want it to equal 1. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to divide everything by 16. Okay, so this is going to stay, and this looks like our standard form. So I've got x plus 3 over 16 squared plus 4/16 reduces to 1/4. So we got y minus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. So in this case, we could pick out our a is 4, our b is 2, my center is negative 3, 1. Okay, this one we're going to do the same thing. So x squared is already by itself. So I don't really need to complete the square with that at all. There's no other x's, but this one I need to factor out the 16. So we've got y squared, 64 divided by 16 is 4. And then I am going to, for y, and then same thing, I gotta leave a space to complete the square. And then I don't have anything over here, so this one is gonna be multiplied by 16, whatever I add. Okay. So b over 2 squared is 4 here. So also add 4 there. Okay, so x squared is already good. Factor here. And it factors into y minus 2 squared. And then we get 4 times 16 is 64. Okay, now divide everything by 64 so that we get the equals 1. Okay, so we end up with x squared over 64. 16 goes into 64 4 times, so we can reduce that fraction. And then equals 1. Center would be 0, 2. A is 8, B is 2, oriented horizontally. Okay, I'm going to actually do this one before I jump to this last example, you guys. So at this step, it looks really close. We want to get this to equal 1, so we're going to divide everything by 9. So this reduces nicely. So it reduces to x minus 1 squared over 3. 8/9 does not. So here is what we do when that's the case. I don't want to leave it like this. Okay, I don't want to leave it like this. So multiplying by 8/9 is the same as dividing by the reciprocal. So this is actually how we would write this. It would be plus y minus 2 squared over 9/8. Okay, multiplying by 8/9 is the same as dividing by its reciprocal. So then I would be able to figure out a and b from there. So this would be the standard form. So if you end up with something that doesn't reduce nicely like all of these have, that's actually how we want you to write it. Okay, last example here, guys. Completing the square, so let's get all our x's together. So we got 9x squared minus 36x plus 16y squared minus 64y equals 44. This time I need to factor out a 9 from the x's as well. And then leave a space to add. Factor out a 16. We've just did this one kind of up above. Okay, equals 44 plus, so this, whatever I add over here is being multiplied by 9. So we got 9 times whatever. And then this, whatever I add here is being multiplied by 16. So we got 16 times whatever. Okay, so b over 2 squared here is 4. Okay, add the 4 there. b over 2 squared here is also 4. All right, so we've got 9 times x minus 2 squared plus 16 times y minus 2 squared equals, what do we got here? 44 plus 36 is 80. Let's see, 44 plus 36 plus 64? 144. All right, so now to get it equal to 1, we're going to divide everything by 144. And actually, I think 144 divided by 16 is 9. Yep, perfect. So this reduces to 1/16, so x minus 2 squared over 16. This reduced to 1/9, so y minus 2 squared over 9 equals 1. Center is 2, 2. A is 4, B is 3. Let me double check. I think that is the last one. Yep. All right. That is everything for this video, guys. Thanks for watching.